All right, welcome back to Morning Live. Now, the election of Mvurya as the first female chair of the University of Nairobi Student Association continues to excite Kenyans both offline and online. Ms. Mvurya prevailed in the hotly contested election to emerge victorious after scooping 24 votes against Samuel Ayoma's 8, while Etiman Oil got 4. She replaced Anthony Manyara, who was the first to be elected under the Universities Amendment Bill signed by President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2016. The exercise was conducted by an electoral college bringing together representatives from universities, 12 campuses. Under the new law, a member of the student council is elected for 1-year term and eligible for re-election for another 1 year. And right now in studio, I'm joined by President himself, of course herself, and Mvurya, and she'll be telling us more about the journey, because traversing journey as a young lady in such a caliber is not actually very easy. And she's right with me here in studio. Anne,
yes.
Good morning.
Good morning to you too.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You know, it kind of beat all the odds. Like you decided to now represent students, but it's also kind of very, very challenging to a normal young man sitting or a woman sitting watching us right now and wondering what is the first reason that you decided that indeed I want to run for this?
I can give you a brief history.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I have been in politics for the past 2 years, the student politics in the University of Nairobi for the past 2 years. I vied last year as a person representing finance, under the finance docket to be the treasurer, but I was disqualified.
Why?
I had campaigned for a very long time, and then I got disqualified. The reason being I was a first year at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so the constitution, the UNSA constitution does not allow first years to vie. So this is something that I really thought was not all right, because leadership should not be based on your age. Some people are wiser when they're 40, and others have the same wisdom when they're 20.
Let bloomers.
Yes. So we should not look at the age so that you say you're a leader and you're qualified to lead, or not. Therefore, when I was disqualified, I tried using the other government, because in the other government, the Anthony Manyara's government, I was the head of UNSA Secretariat. So using that, we tried to change that constitution, and I tried to lobby, but it was not done. So this was one of the reasons why I decided, yes, it's time for us to actually change this constitution. And if it's not going to be done by anyone else, let me take up that mantle.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, it seems like you are acquainted with what is happening in the school politics, because already you were in some leadership position in the former government.
Yes, I was in UNSA as a head of secretariat, and also in the Women's Students Welfare Association as a Secretary General.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, as a woman in leadership, especially now, your role right now, because you're the chair lady or the head of the association. Now, the mantle to decide that, hey, happen and they're the top seat. What really now pushed you to this? Did you have maybe some guys who are now telling you, hey, Anne, you can do this? Or maybe you just woke up one morning and said, I will do this?
I can tell you that for the longest time, I was not going for the position of chair. I was going for the position of finance. But the students are the ones who came and told me, Anne, it's time for you to vie. You have a good track record. We have seen what you can do, and you can definitely deliver. So we believe in you. So they are the students who actually pushed me to this position. It wasn't myself. And once the students say, Anne, take this, you cannot say no.
Absolutely.
Because they're your constituents.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow. Constituents. Yeah, that's so interesting. Now, the association with goons, the University of Nairobi, has been for actually intact for quite some time. Now, you know, campaigns. Wow, some campaigns I see. I've seen some campaigns as far as now, during even the Sonu days, kind of very, very filthy as far as now, even fights sometimes erupting. So as a young lady, how did you maneuver through your campaigns from now convincing guys, hey guys, I'm the eligible one, you can vote for me, I'm the only one who will sort out your mess, blah, blah, blah. So such things. How did you manage to mobilize all these people?
I can say hooliganism and goonship in the university is something that we should not take it lightly, because this is brought about by lack of hope in our society, especially with the youth. The youth are hopeless. You find a youth comes to a university, they get people there, These people are hopeless because they know even when I graduate, I'm going to tarmac for 6 years. My life is not going to amount to anything because the government is not absorbing us at the rate at which we are graduating. So you get hopeless and you start indulging yourself with things like drugs, hooliganism, prostitution, sponsors and all that. So when we look at them, we shouldn't just look at them at the perspective of they're goons, they're disturbing. These are people who actually need help. And the reason why they did not, even though they were a challenge, I can say, in my campaign, the reason why I decided that I'm even going to fight for them too is because there are people who actually need help and they've lost hope in life. So we should look at also things like counseling in our schools. In our schools, we do not have the right mechanism for counseling. You find we do not have mentors. If you don't have a mentor, you don't have someone who tells you, by the way, when you're in a law degree, you should take internship here, you should do this, you should be an arbitrator, you can take this course, you can do CPA. Therefore, you will have a direction in your life. But if you're just thrown into an environment where you have so many things coming at you and you're in first year, you've never drunk, there's availability of now alcohol. You've never known what bang is, but now it's available. So if you do not have guidance, you will definitely fall into that. Therefore, this is something that is part and parcel of what I'm going to do for the year. We're going to ensure that there's mentorship right on when you get in. And for the ones who are already in school, mentorship should also start for them too. So that you do not lose hope in the middle of your 4-year term in school. And you start engaging in other things that do not help your life.
It's true that. Wow, amazing. Now, when you talk about women in leadership, just a few months ago, we had a difficult time. MPs and legislators as a whole, they did not pass the third gender rule in Parliament. Now, what's your opinion on such a move by Parliament? Is it there's a scare for the fact that the women are coming up very swiftly, or maybe do you think there's just that traditional societal superiority complex actually being exhibited by men out here? What's your opinion on this?
When we say about the two-thirds gender rule, we should not think of it as women coming to overtake men. It's just women looking for a space for them to also be in that table. You know, there's a time I went somewhere and someone told me, as a woman, even in the Bible, you're told you cannot speak in the church. You have to tell your husband to speak for you. So they still have this mentality that dates back to the olden days where women cannot be able to say whatever they want. But what we're asking for is just space, just an opportunity for us to also show that we are capable, we're also able to lead. We're not saying that men are incapable. No, we're only saying that an opportunity should also be granted to women for them to also have an opportunity to vie. Because as I said, it was not easy for me to vie because you have hooliganism. These are also the same challenges that women face in the national politics. Sometimes they're unable to even go campaign in the wee hours of the night because of insecurity. So these are some of the things we have to look at. The playing field is not level for all of us. When we say we do not give that opportunity, we're not recognizing that we do face so many challenges when we do decide to vie. So I even came up with this foundation called the Mvurya Foundation. And in this foundation, what basically we're all about, we're going to empower both men and women, young men and women, to take up leadership positions because they are from a society where probably they're told that only the rich can be leaders. For you to be a leader, probably in the University of Nairobi, you have to have millions and millions of shillings. For you to be a woman, you're going to be cyberbullied and all that. This is just a space for them to be mentored, to be shown the way, and to also get that courage and confidence that they can actually lead.
Campaigns are very expensive, especially in the campus. Anywhere, actually, campaigns are very expensive. And you just mentioned something. Maybe that space is only meant for the rich, blah, 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 such things. Now, how did you manage to now kind of mobilize students now to come help you with the campaigns financially from your own pocket, maybe your family? How are you able to amalgamate all these things? Because now as it is, people are wondering who sponsored Anne? There must be someone who sponsored you.
As I said earlier, it was not my prerogative to vie. I was actually pushed by the students. The University of Nairobi has up to around 100,000 students. I used about 2 million to campaign. So the students are the one who actually did a harambe for me and helped me. And they were the ones, you know, and we are fronting you, so we're going to help you. So I had a harambe at home. We were able to raise a certain amount, but the rest, it's by students. Because if each student gave me 20 shillings, that's 2 million already. And that's what I used to campaign.
Interesting. So maybe when you talk about the costs of campaigning, I think not so many people are aware of how you manage to kind of, the nitty-gritties of movement campaign campaigning from maybe Stella Awinja, you know what I mean, to just traversing the campus itself, not only in Nairobi actually. Did you manage to maybe go to other campuses outside the town to just to support?
Yes, when you're campaigning, you do not only go there once, but you go there severally, because you can't just expect someone will see you one time and they have already adapted to what you want to, what your manifesto is. So like going to Mombasa, I went to Mombasa severally, so that's air ticket.
Yes.
And you're not only going yourself, you have a team of 7, so you're going as a team of 7. So that's why it gets so expensive. It's not because of any other reason, but because movement and accommodation and food for a whole team, especially flights to Mombasa, flights to Kisumu, they become quite expensive. Yes.
Now, previous the SONU leaders, let's work with SONU leaders from His Excellency Babu Owino. There's so many actually young guys who went through that, the hierarchy situation. We've seen them during the campus days. They're living some lavish lifestyles. You can imagine you're a third-year student but driving an Overfinch, Range Rover type of a vehicle, and you're wondering, wow, what's happening here? As a leader in school, also because you understand it's only help sorting people out and some few coins maybe from your parents or guardians, but you've seen people living lavishly here. Yeah, maybe where do they get this money?
I can only speak for myself.
Okay.
We get a mere salary of 10,000 shillings a month. Therefore, I would not be able to comment on any person's livelihood because I myself, I don't drive a Range Rover.
Okay, something else before we even proceed. I understand as much as you're in the leadership role at the University of Nairobi, there's some things maybe as the public we are of interest. Maybe what's your budget?
What's my budget?
Yeah,
the
what's
budget
the budget
varies year to year because Module 1 students, the ones sponsored by the government, pay 500 to the kitty, and the Module 2s pay 1,000 to the kitty. So it varies every year. My budget this year has not yet been approved.
Okay, interesting. Roughly how much is it?
It has to be approved, so I cannot comment on something that has not been approved.
That's very interesting. Anyway, yes, as much as you're trying to kind of evade this, anyway, let's proceed. Now, we talked about something very interesting on hooliganism.
Okay.
So this is something that indeed has to be kind of worked on, because now any riot on Waiyaki Way, University Way, University of Nairobi. Anything maybe a young politician wants his or her agenda to go through, youths, mostly from University of Nairobi. Now, from your kind of responsibility right now, what will you do to avoid this? Because now this guy is sometimes sponsored to do all these things, to block the roads, to block University Way, to block all this. It's kind of now it's boring. It's losing the color itself now. What can you do this time round with your leadership style to now sort this thing out?
One of my major selling points was that I'm bringing sober leadership back to the university. We're bringing leadership where it's actually where people are actually doing something and not saying that they're doing something. So I will always act in the best interest of the students. So whatever the best interest of the student is where I'll be at. So if a politician approaches the school and says we need students to do this and it's not in the best interest of the students, then I would not partake. Yes.
Okay, interesting. Now, from the VC, the leadership, from the lecturers, everything, how's the relationship between you now with the leadership of the university, the top leadership that is? How's the relationship with them?
I can say they're quite happy that the university is moving to an age where actual policies are the ones which sell. And people actually listen to what you're going to do. So we actually went and sat down as my council. My council is a team of 7 with the administration. They gave us the strategic plan for the next 5 years, and we gave them our manifesto. So we came to an understanding that we help you achieve your strategic plan. If you want the school to be viewed in a better light, we're going to help you in that. But you also should be the ones to help us to achieve our manifesto, because we want to leave a legacy. We're going to leave a legacy, and this is something that we really, really, really are interested in.
Amazing. Now, as you're winding this up, and there's also the aspect of believability. You know, as a leader, the believability aspect is very important. Now, how did you make yourself be believable now to your constituents who are the students now? There's an aspect also where you have to come in and convince them that indeed you'll make their life better. How did you do this?
As I said earlier, my track record speaks for itself. I have worked in the University of Nairobi tirelessly. And whatever I used to say that I would do, I would actually do. So whenever I would say, guys, this is our plan for the next year, and this is what we intend to do, they believed because they have seen me do it.
Absolutely. Yes. Interesting. Now, other leaders who left kind of, they always wanted to kind of remain at the helm. Some even took other courses. Some maybe did, for example, they did whatever, then after 4 years, they want to go do law just to maintain. Now, are you planning to extend or sometime? Yeah.
No, I do not plan on taking another course. I am currently eligible next year to vie again. So if I am not able if I am done with what I have to do, and the students again tell me, and this is what we expect from you this next year, I would vie again. But after that, it's good, as I said, I am mentoring other people to come into the space too. So it's good to also grow people because you will also grow in other levels. Yes.
It trickles down also to leadership later on in your life when you leave campus. We've seen Babu Owino also right now in Bakassi East, Member of Parliament. We've seen other student leaders also being involved big time in these issues just concerning the overall top governance in this country. Are you looking forward one day that you represent your people in one way or another?
I would not say that I would enter into the political space as of right now because my focus is the University of Nairobi and ensuring that the University of Nairobi changes the narrative. We have to change the image of the University of Nairobi back to as a world-class university that provides excellence in everything that it does. So that is my main focus now. When that time comes, from the work that I would have done in the University of Nairobi, if Kenyans feel that I should also represent them, I will. But I would say I'm going to always be an activist and a leader in whatever space that I would take. I would always be a leader. So it does not necessarily mean that I will be a member of parliament somewhere for me to actually fight for the rights of the youth and fight for the rights of Kenyans.
Now, it seems like there's always an interest to the University of Nairobi leadership, and we saw your photos with some few politicians around, Governor of Nairobi County, Mike Sonko, some other politicians maybe. How is the relationship now with the county government or maybe the central government? Who knows? How do you deal with these guys?
About the pictures that went around social media, after I won, I got a courtesy call from the governor of Nairobi. I am a resident of Nairobi. Therefore, when your governor calls you for a courtesy call, you honor it. Yes, so that's what happened. I went there with my whole team. My whole team was present, took pictures because it was an honor. It was the first time I'm meeting this governor. So yes, so that's how the photos went viral. My relationship with the national government is a leader-based relationship. Whatever they're going to do for the youth, I'm going to be in support. But whenever they're not doing anything in the best interest of the youth, then I'd have to speak up.
Thank you very much, Mvurya, for coming to studio. Really appreciate your time, for making actually time to come to Morning Live. And all the best.
Thank you.
Trust me, we will support you because now we need the young, especially young ladies to take on leadership positions. And please, mentor most of them, be the destiny shaper, and all the best.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's all we had for you right here on Morning Live. Joyce Omondi Wehige is coming up next. And of course, when interestingly, that is Mr. Michael Maithia has been our sign language interpreter. But Joyce is coming up next. So stay tuned to Switch TV.